Hey everyone, welcome back to OCD Recovery. I wanted to do a video kind of piggybacking off Rob's video that went up today, February 27th, talking about why some people might not recover. I want to talk about why, well, first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten this out a little bit. That's the first thing we're going to do. It looks a little bit more straight to me. Here we go. Your OCD, Nick, right there. There goes my straightening perfection. But I want to talk about how important it is to take an attitude of going to do whatever it takes in order to get better, but not in a compulsory manner where you're making OCD recovery the only part of your life. So my entire life, I've been pretty weird. I've had all sorts of weird little twerks. I used to hide food behind my treasure chest in my playroom when I was like 5 and 6. I would rub cocoa butter on my body like 15, 20 times a day, which I said before because I liked the way it made me feel. I had all these little tiny quirks that were based around I didn't like feeling a certain way. I didn't like being uncomfortable, so I would do these particular things so I didn't have to feel uncomfortable anymore, which kind of led up to me suffering with tinnitus, ringing in my ear for 3 months, which then led up to me having sensory motor OCD chronically latched for the better part of a year and a half. The first year it was really latched because it latched September of 2019. So, and I really didn't start to even truly try to get better until the middle of 2020. So that's almost a year where I really just didn't put the work in. I had known Rob for about half that time. He still has my original message, which is really funny. We talk about that when I messaged him after I was like, oh, I kind of recovered from tinnitus and I have sensory motor, and here we are with a laugh emoji. So what happened was when Rob and I were talking, he was asking me, what are you doing? And I was saying, I'm playing video games all the time and I'm really scared I'm going to notice my saliva forever. I had fear of fear. I didn't even know what that meant at the time. I had no idea that one could be scared of being scared forever. I had no idea that was a real thing, but that was really a major part of my recovery process and why I've made so much progress in the last couple of years. So, people look at me and they're like, oh, you must have had it easier. It's when we look at someone who has something that we desire, whether it's OCD recovery, whether it's money, whether it's some spiritual aspect, whatever it is, maybe they have a car. Human nature, we think, oh, they must have had it really easy, but that's not really the case. And I'm not saying this in order to brag or anything like that, but I want to tell you that I am just like you in the sense that I didn't do the work required for the better part of 12 months. My wife was going to leave me because I was putting her through a lot. I was institutionalized. Most people will never end up there, but I did because we didn't know what to do. And my wife was really scared because I was having a lot of suicidal ideations, which was very different for me. The reason why she was probably so scared too, I was such a eccentric extrovert, and I turned into this very crab shell introvert, suicidal ideations, threatening myself all the time. She was really scared, so that's what she did. So when I left the mental hospital a couple months after sensory motor had latched, again, I met Rob, and then for about 5 or 6 months, I didn't listen at all. I was still leaving work early. I was still internally checking my sensation all day long, but the reason that was happening because I was still really scared of being stuck forever. So that was really what drives that. A lot of people ask me, Nick, how do I handle automatic rumination? And there's certain people that say stuff like, oh, you can bring down rumination each day. Some of the rumination where you sit down on like a couch and analyze what's going on, that can be brought down decently quickly. But the automatic rumination, which stands for the most part of the OCD/anxiety recovery journey, the thoughts, images, sensation, whatever it may be that's firing on autopilot, that distracts OCD sufferers from what actually matters, which is bringing down the core belief, not disputing thoughts as they come, but working on the core fear. So let's say you have a core fear of, you have ROCD. It's a really easy example to use because a lot of people suffer with ROCD. You're afraid you're in the wrong relationships. You're having all these thoughts all day, but you're walking around kind of analyzing them, relabeling them, and you're kind of going, it's like a chess, like it moves a chess piece, you move another one, or a checkers board. And you're kind of, or shoots and ladders, right? You just like shoot and ladder, and you're just going in circles all the time. Well, all that is kind of just getting comfortable and letting that play out, creating some distance and allowing yourself to wear those uncomfortable things like an uncomfortable coat, those anxiety sensations, whatever it may be. And then working on the core fear of that, if you were in the wrong relationship, it wouldn't be optimal, but optimal is a real weird word anyway, because optimal is more in line with perfectionism, and perfectionism is a really weird topic. So you can prefer to be perfectionistic, but most people don't prefer to be perfectionistic. What happens is they demand perfection, and that's what really gets people into trouble. Because when things go wrong, like my life, I had a lot of great things in my life. I have a great family background. I graduated from grad school. I'm an amazing wife, but this one thing was holding me back, and I was super, super upset about that, and that was really keeping me locked. Daisy's over there growling because she's a little brat. Erica went back to her home country of Canada, so I'm alone with the dogs. And, you can imagine she's messaging me all day. Did you walk the dogs? Did you feed the dogs? Because she doesn't think I'm capable of being a human being that takes care of a living thing. No, boo-boo. So that was really important for me. And in order for me to get to where I want to go, I need to buckle down and get extremely serious. Again, not making it the only thing that matters in my life. I'm going to open the door for her. Not making it the only thing that matters in my life, but making it a part of my life that, yes, my Christmas tree is still up. It's almost March. I do this every single year. Erica's about to literally throw me off a bridge. So, I had to realize that the work was going to have to come through me, and no one else was going to be able to get me there but myself. So what a lot of people forget is Rob, myself, Momin, other people who are providing insight, we're only vessels of knowledge and vessels of experience, but neither of us can really bring you to where you want to go. That has to come from you. So today I made a quick TikTok video when I was hiking, and I was thinking about it because Rob was like, can you make a couple TikToks in the mountains? And I said, absolutely. So as I was hiking solo, which I love hiking solo by myself in the winter, it's just very meditative to me. People ask me if I meditate. I don't meditate, but I look at solo hiking thousands of feet in the air in the snow as a form of meditation for myself. So it's a lot of fun. So, and I was thinking, how can I make a hiking analogy to OCD? And I actually came up with a good one. When I first moved here 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, I came from sea level my whole life. I lived in Florida, elevation 3.5 millimeters. You know what I mean? So when I moved to Colorado, I live at Mile High City. So it's over a mile in the sky. It's like 1.2 miles in the air. And that's where I live. And then the mountains go up. We have 58 14ers here, so 14,000 foot mountains. And we have 687 13,000 foot mountains. Now, a lot of them are like almost 14. They're basically 14ers. When I moved here, the hikes I do now is like my relaxing weeks were very hard for me. I was breathing really heavily. When you get up to about 14,000 feet, you have about half of sea level oxygen, and you'll feel it. They have paramedics up there, Pikes Peak. They have paramedics up there at all times. Dehydration is the number one cause of altitude sickness. And the higher you go, like if you go 19, 21,000 feet, then stuff gets really serious. And then the death zone is 26,000 feet. There's a little geographic knowledge for you. I think it would be geographic. So, that was it was difficult for me. And then what happened was, as I started to get better from OCD, it kind of was how I started to get better at hiking. The first time I did the Manitou Incline, the staircase that some people see me do, it was really difficult for me to get up those stairs. It was really hard. But then in time, it got easier and easier and easier. It was still difficult, but I was able to handle that discomfort of hiking up 3,000 steps. That's literally like this. I could handle that better. And that's kind of how wearing anxiety like an uncomfortable coat is. Humans innately will do whatever they can to avoid discomfort. And many people forget that discomfort and pain is a part of life. Some of the Buddha philosophies are more along the lines of life is suffering, and I disagree with that. Suffering is a part of life. Maybe some more, maybe others for other people. Some people might have more mental anguish. Some people might have more physical pain, a combination of the both. But life is not entirely suffering. I think the Buddha was actually quite wrong on that because it's more of a pessimistic, morbid outlook. But your life, one of the most important things in life is being able to handle certain uncomfortable sensations whilst you go about your day. So if you're waiting around for the right time in order to feel a certain way to move on with your recovery, that day's never coming, and you're kind of just going to stay in that progressive cycle of OCD, anxiety, compulsive behaviors, always trying to rid yourself. So I always tell people disputing the core fear is a pinprick to the heart of OCD, but the majority of the journey is building your lifestyle structures, bringing down reassurance/confession behaviors, and there's little ones too. I mean, I talk about the long text messages and the questions. People get fired up over that. I got fired up over it. Rob used to be like, hey, calm us down. I would be like, no, I'm just trying to ask these genuine questions. And there are a lot of genuine questions, but it's the manner and how we ask them that can be problematic for certain people. So that was, for many of us. So that was really something I had to do as well. And over time, I learned what was a compulsive behavior and how I was seeking reassurance and what ways I can move my life to get better and how I was really conditional about the way I looked. I always had to have abs. Why the gym was the only important thing in my life when it's just a part of my life. And I'll always lift, and I love lifting for aesthetics and strength, but I no longer have a connotation that it's the only important thing in my life. So there's all these little things, and the journey can't be 3-6 months. Not to say you're not going to get relief in 3 to 6 months, but when you're chronically stuck, like so many thousands of people, tens of thousands of people are, there's so many things in life where we have set deadlines. I talk about this a lot in the webinars. And anxiety and OCD, mental health recovery, is just not like that. It takes a long time because these beliefs have been here for a while. It doesn't take forever, but it takes a little bit of time. When you look at my videos even a year ago, after you watch this video, I invite you to go back to May of last year, to my 1-year recovery video, and look at the difference between this video and that video. And I thought I was crushing it in that video, but I still had sensory motor lingering in a lot of the videos and stuff like that. Now there's nothing. There's not. And remember, it's not about, a lot of people think I never want to know this discomfort again. That's not what we're talking about. In time, you do rarely notice it, but if your goal is to never notice it again, you're doing the opposite of acceptance. So like I see all this type of stuff where people are talking about wanting to rid all discomfort. Discomfort in life is fucking sweet. I mean, I love discomfort. Hiking, I like the physical discomfort. I like thinking about how to solve problems in my business. I like all sorts of stuff like that. It challenges me. It makes me grow. And there's some people out there, and I really want to piggyback this off what Rob was saying, that will talk to you listen, there's a time and place for compassion. There's a time and place for empathy. There's a time and place for being blunt and a time and place for being straightforward. Some people, you have to learn who you're dealing with. Some people don't respond to that, but some people need to hear it, whether they respond or not. And then people get a little upset about that because the mental health community tends to be a really wishy-washy and feelings and hugs and everything like that. And that's amazing. That's great. I've cried multiple times. I've made great friends. I have lots of compassion. I'm so thankful for Rob and the community and all the people, all the way from Paul Little to Hannah to Kirsty to Momin to Phil to Sophia to anyone I've met. Talking to Alexander in the Ukraine, like this is all crazy stuff. We're all really fortunate. But when you look at the people who have, Jade, another great example, when you look at the people who have made significant progress, look at the way they're looking at life. Look at the way we look at life. Look at the way how we frame the things we're saying. We're not saying that, a compassionate, empathetic approach is not necessary. We know it is. We know what it's like to be suffering, but we don't believe in the very, very coddle atmosphere that we tend to see on social media in the mental health space. It's just not beneficial for us. I know this is hard to hear, but sometimes you gotta look in the mirror and you have to say, the only person that's going to get me better is myself. And I need to buckle the fuck down. Okay? If you don't curse, you don't have to curse. You can use another word. You can just say buckle down and push forward. This is the reality of life. Nobody in life there's two things. Nobody in life has ever accomplished anything extremely meaningful without hardships and haters and all that. Well, people hate and do whatever they want. That's irrelevant to your journey. There's always going to be haters. I like what Cat Williams said. Haters are haters. Let them hate. You need haters. And I agree with that. I'm always willing to talk to people who disagree with me. The other part is you have one life. One life. Mark Twain quote, I didn't really remember what it was like before life. I'm more than likely not going to remember what it was like after I die. So you have this short time in a time continuum of millions of years on this floating rock where no one can truly say why we're here and why we're not here. It's all based on faith, which is fine. You can have faith and still recover from OCD. And that's really how you're going to get better. This is a little bit more of a motivational and straightforward video, but this is the real deal. This is how you get better. You buckle down, you build your life structures, you don't make OCD the only priority in your life. Oh, excuse me. You realize you're going to have relapses and setbacks. You realize that it's going to be doubts all over the place, uncomfortable sensations, potentially changing themes, all the things I was in denial about, and I hit all of it. I got it all. Everything that you think you're going through, we have it. All of our fears feel like the worst fear. We all feel like we're the exception and stuff like that. And it's just, you have the ability to push forward through discomfort, work on the core fear, remember, not disputing with the thoughts, and get yourself to a place where you're in a much better position to handle if real events happen and stuff like that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a really serious video because this is what's needed every once in a while. There have been plenty of people I've had conversations with who have told me that tough love has no place. I 100% disagree with that. I can understand why they don't think that because certain people brought up in certain environments and socioeconomic backgrounds and all sorts of stuff. But we have to remember that tough love can be mixed with compassion, and sometimes tough love is what people need to hear. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day. Oh yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps get the information out there. Thank you so much.